Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me Swastika and you guys can follow me on Instagram. My ID goes by the name It's Swastika Sharma. So this video is especially relevant for all those women, for all those girls, for all those young professionals who are coming back into the professional sphere after a short or a long break of some time. This is also for people who want to kickstart their career after a short professional career break. Short period can mean any time from 1 month to maybe even a year. So if it's been a year and you've been unemployed, because let's say you're a young working professional and you decided to switch streams and started studying for UPSC, then this is the place for you. If you are some woman or some girl who suddenly coming back to her career after her failed your his failed relationships or anything of that sort, and suddenly coming back into the professional world after some kind of isolation or some kind of time away from the professional world, then this is the video for you. So the first thing is that whenever you find yourself in a situation where you've taken a career break and you're coming back, it feels a little intimidating. It feels a little difficult to suddenly begin and to kickstart your career or your new position in the new company with a lot of people, with the social pressure and the peer pressure and all of those things. But I just want you to know that you should take this easy. And a lot of psychological fear tends to develop because you feel scared of how you would perform, of how you would not perform, and that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly normal. It's okay to embrace that side and to just go with it and to in fact help that shape your career even better. If in the interview board you get asked questions like, why have you taken a break, you can quote unquote say that you did so for academic purposes, or you were, let's say, taking workshops in that period to enhance some certain skill, or you can say that you were studying for some kind of competitive exam or some kind of a competitive paper. This will especially help you in jobs, in fields, professional fields such as human resources and other such papers which require you to have a social knowledge of the social sector, of social causes, and so on and so forth. So how do you suddenly kickstart your career after a break? The first thing is that you need to start developing a skill. So for example, you were a woman who was employed for 2 years, for 3 years, and had some kind of experience doing HR or some kind of experience doing work, communication work, or operations, and now you want to, let's say, shift your field to the marketing sphere or to some other sphere which is completely new to you, new to your skill set, then it becomes very, very important for you to actually sit down and develop that skill. In fact, in one of the books written by Malcolm, I think the name of the book is called Outliers, he pointed out how you need to work for 10,000 hours on any skill to actually become perfect at it. So 10,000 hours would roughly translate into 4 years of skill development. Of course, we wouldn't have such time, and luckily in the times today, when Malcolm wrote that book, it was a long time back and the technology was not as swift and as developed as it is today. So the 10,000 hours, 20 years, 30 years back would actually translate into less than a year today, considering the pace of technology, considering the pace of how we network, and considering how fast those skills are evolving. So it's become increasingly easy for us to develop a new skill, be it coding, be it content writing, be it working on your communications, because there's just so much data that is available. So if you want to learn coding, you can do so on Indian government portals. If you want to learn something on environment, you can easily enroll yourself into a professional or a certificate course in IGNU, or you can do a plethora of things which can actually help you develop a skill. If you want to learn video editing, you can easily, go to Udemy or in any such portal which teaches those things, and for a very nominal cost by online learning, you can actually develop that skill, attain certificates, and just develop that skill. But the first thing and the most important thing is that you need to figure out which is the skill that you want to develop and which is the skill that really works for you. So the first important thing is that you should figure it out. Especially since I'm working with women and that has been my forte, I would say that like, it's fine if you're confused and you're coming to a new space after a long period of time and you just don't know where to start. You can just start experimenting with a lot of things. I would not say that, just because a profession is female dominated or male dominated, you should, tend or want to go towards that direction because it becomes easy for you. I would in fact say that it's even better if you can manage to push yourself out of your comfort zone, especially for women who are coming after a career break and are intimidated after are just intimidated of going back into a working environment. So that fear is completely understood, and that's perfectly fine. So you can just figure out the skill that you want. You can play around with the multiplicity of skills, of multiplicity of factors, and you can figure out what works for you, what doesn't work for you, and you can just work on developing that skill. And of course, as I've said earlier, the 10,000 hour rule used to apply, which does not apply now due to the increase in the pace of technology and other such things. So the second thing is that you need to find a mentor. After you have identified the skill that you want to develop and the skill that you want to work on, and you've worked on it for a few times, you've done 1 or 2 free gigs, you've got like a flashy certificate or 2 to just show it to the person that who would eventually recruit you, it makes sense to find a mentor. A mentor would actually help you hone and give the finishing touches to that skill. Just imagine you're making a sculpture with your hands, and if you've made the entire sculpture, you worked on it for 6 months, 7 months, it's perfectly normal to spend 2 hours just doing the the final touches, the polishing, the finishing touches, which actually make it look as good as it is. So find a mentor and try to ask him or her questions. Again, if you're a woman, I would say try to find mentors who are women. I know it's difficult to find women who who are at very top echelons in the field that you want to work in, because generally most of the top positions, be it CEOs, be it the company professional, be it the top entrepreneurs, be it the top doctors, they're taken by men, and that is sadly how inequality perpetuates in society. But my sincere advice to you would be to find women, especially working women, who are at the top of their fields, and try to develop a connection with them and help them, and ask for their help, for them to mentor you. In fact, from my experience, I've seen that women, especially when you go to the higher echelons of, be it administrative frameworks, be it corporate sector, they're especially nice to other women because they understand the struggle and the kind of effort that actually goes into reaching that position. So they're especially helpful, and they would be, of course, be willing to help out younger girls and younger students. So yeah, of course, the third important thing is find a mentor, and the next important thing in this list is to network. Network. I know being in a social situation feels very intimidating. When I was in college, I was completely an introvert, but you have to know that some of the best people out there, from Steve Jobs, Barack Obama, Oprah Winfrey, they were all introverts, and eventually they had to step out of their shells and they had to make this world their oyster and network. So how to network? This becomes the second question. The first thing is you have to network, you have to make contacts, you have to generate leads. The second question is, how do you network? The best way to do this is to just connect with HRs, you can find these HR guys everywhere, on your LinkedIn, on Naukri.com, on Glassdoor, on a lot of other websites, and just try to message them, try to connect them. In more cases than one, a lot of these HRs are already looking for talent that they can recruit, and the entire selection process becomes a little easy if you can just directly mail your CV to them. Of course, you can directly connect with founders and co-founders in that app. I'm forgetting the name. I think it's called Hirect, starts with an H. So you can just directly connect with the co-founders there as well, and they also want to recruit professionals that can work on their startups. So of course, and especially since this is a period when the maximum layoffs are happening. Like Meta has already, laid off more than 10,000 employees. Twitter has laid off more than 11,000 employees, and the people that are actually working in that team, they want to start taking them off as well, or to just, make them work for ungodly hours. So of course you have to network with HRs. You have to just slide into their DMs and start a polite conversation, and just ask for their and send your CV across to them, and be polite and be nice, and I'm sure you would see some kind of response, a positive response that will help you grow your professional network. So that becomes very important. Another important thing that you can do now that you've started to kickstart your career and step back into the professional world after a break of some sort is to build your own brand. I know this sounds completely silly, but just look at amazing people who just started building an online presence. Like, that's how they began their careers. A lot of influencers, a lot of even people who spoke really well on public platforms, and their videos and their content went viral, and that helped them build a brand that was relevant to the youth today, that was relevant to society today, and that also helped to kickstart their career. So I know it's difficult for you to make your first video go viral, but I can definitely say that it's going to be easy for you to get your 85th video viral on YouTube when you can finally understand how the algorithm works. And it's a pretty smart algorithm, guys. You have to keep the audience hooked and entertained onto your content, and you are just one of the many content creators out there. So there's no surety that your content is going to hit off, but if it's not the first video, if it's not the second video, it can be the 85th video, and that's perfectly fine. You don't have to be the topper of the class. You don't have to get your PhD at 25 and just become like Karl Marx. You can just relax, take it at a snail pace, but eventually reach your destination. So that's especially how I feel when I work, that I cannot outsmart and outrun the smartest and the brightest sections of society out there, which is a lot of people. But I can just take it slow, go at my pace, and hope that one day the brand that I'm trying to build finally succeeds. So this is also something that you can do. You can start by having your Instagram page. You can start by having your own YouTube channel. You can start by talking about motivational stuff, things that you think can influence the youth today in a positive manner and take society forward. What are those causes? What are those ideas? What are those dreams? What are those things that you want to talk about? And you can just build your brand based on that. I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of people who've come up with startups, just eventually make it on social media and just build their brand. So that's also a good way, though it's a time consuming way, but there are no shortcuts to success. And on that note, let's get this video to a close. And before I go, I just want to quickly say that if you guys are looking for luxury bags, please check out, you can just Instagram me, just DM me, and just purchase some bags. Like, my Instagram ID is itsswastikasharma. It's going to be mentioned here. My bag store is basically luxebagindia, and you can also email me if you want to check out the collection. You can buy something. It's very reasonable. and it's all premium and heavy qualities because I want the best for my subscribers. So yeah, do check it out, and please kickstart your career and give it your very best shot. And let's bring this video to an end today. Goodbye.